What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews, and today I'm going to take you through a preview of the 4 WNBA games on this upcoming slate. If it's your first time checking out the channel, I encourage you to subscribe because we're growing fast, baby. We're almost up to our target of 8,000 subscribers, and the reason why we have so many is because I do this every single day. I share my screen, we go through outline, I take you through all the props that I like. If there are any other resources available, I'll refer to those. I'll tell you what I like, tell you what I don't, and I do all this to give you all the information that you need to make the best bets possible. Now, this is my first WNBA video, so please be careful, be cautious, don't be too harsh on me now, because as you know, I do this every day, and I get better every single time I do it. We'll go through the 4 games, so a pretty healthy slate. I'll need your help for those of you who are close to WNBA to light up that comment section to help me. Maybe I'm missing something, but I'll show you all the numbers. I'll give you my thoughts and my opinion. Take that with a grain of salt. I do encourage you to do your own research as well. We'll jump into Outlier. Speaking of Outlier, 7-day free trial in the link below. Not only have I been using this on NBA, I've been using it on NHL, MLB, WNBA. It's a tool for everything. So check it out. 7-day free trial. But let's jump straight into it, shall we? Let's go. So the first game that I'm going to be previewing is the New York Liberty versus the Washington Mystics. Now, firstly, starting on where the lines are at. New York Liberty, 15.5 point favorites in this game, which is wild. The Liberty are home in this one. The Washington Mystics, they're still looking for their first win of the season. I think they're looking to avoid their first 0-8 start since 2007. So it's been a very long time since they've started off this poorly. Ariel Atkins, a strong player. Shakira Austin, Carly Samuelson, and Stephanie Dolson, probably the key players that I'm going to be looking at for the Washington Mystics. In terms of the New York Liberty, they're 5-2 so far this season. They're 3-1 straight up at home. Averaging a lot of points. Brianna Stewart's a beast. Jonquel Jones, Sabrina, my lord, that's a strong-ass team. Now, having a quick look at the injury report, from what I can see, the New York Liberty don't have any players on their injury report, although the Washington Mystics looks like they're going to be without Brittany Sykes due to an ankle injury. Shakira Austin is listed as day-to-day for Washington. In terms of firstly, I like to get a game script in my mind so I know which type of players to fade and who to take. Based on the research I've done, the Liberty, they deserve to be favorites at 15.5. The problem is the Liberty, they're only 1-6 in covering the spread, so the game could be a lot closer than that 15.5. They obviously should win this, but it should be closer than that. The Mystics, yeah, might as well. Washington Mystics, they haven't won a game this season, but they have managed to cover the line in 3 of their games. So they could get blasted because they're not good at anything, but at the time, the Liberty, they don't do very well at covering big numbers. So I think the Mystics, they should cover potentially, but what that means is I can actually take bets from both sides, really. So if the game's going to be closer than the books expect, it means there could be some value on some of the Mystics players. But we'll jump through Outlier. We'll go through the ones who have the best hit rates throughout this season. I think that's going to be my strategy nice and early until I establish a rhythm. And I'll be leaning on the help from you guys to help me out there. So one name popping out, if we look at how things are going on the season, is this young lady, Shakira Austin. So her points props up here, 10.5 points. So these are her 5 games from the season. She's covered 10.5 in 4 out of the 5 games on the season, averaging 11.6 points per game. She plays 20 minutes. She takes about 11 attempts, and she's shooting 39% from the field. Now, her last 2 games against Phoenix and Atlanta, not great, and 33% from the field. But what is promising is that the volume is there. Now, if we take a look at the head-to-head numbers against the New York Liberty, she's played them 3 times in the past year. Once this season, where she scored 13 points. The 2 games last year, she only scored 6. In that last game against the Liberty, she was 6 from 11. So she shot the volume that she has been shooting throughout this season, averaging 11 attempts, took shots against them last time. That was the opener for this season, her first game for the season. She did shoot well, a lot higher than what she has been doing as of late. So I feel like this line is pretty sharp. The 10.5, although she had been hitting it quite well as of late. Oh, god damn. What's helping is actually to the free throw line. Her last game against Liberty didn't get to the free throw line at all, but she did shoot a very good percentage from the floor. These days, last year, not shooting very well, but is getting to the line. So I'm going to need your help in this. The Liberty, they allow the second fewest points in the NBA, though. That could be a bit of a concern. So At minus 125, this line feels pretty sharp and probably not something that I'm willing to play, although the hit rate does look pretty good on this. The next number that's listening out to us is, who's this? Julie Van Loo. Now, Julie Van Loo doesn't have a picture here in Outlier, so I don't even know what she looks like. But what Outlier is calling out is under 6.5 assists for Julie Van Loo. So she's gone under in this line in 5 out of 7 games this season, averaging 5.4 assists per game. She needs 7 in order to cash this, which she's only cashed in twice. She's playing about 25 minutes per game. She's failed to exceed assists in 4 of her last 5 games. In terms of the Liberty, they allow 19.6 assists per game, ranking them 6th. I believe that's about middle of the pack. So the matchup's not good, the matchup's not bad. So it's a pretty average matchup, right? And if we're looking at averages, Julie Van Loo is averaging 5.4. So the minus 6.5, I guess that makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to make my list of leans because obviously not being strong with this WNBA stuff, I don't want to make many hasty decisions, but I do ask that you help me out. If you're familiar with these players, these props, these thoughts that I'm having, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Next up, we got Druitt, and Outlier's calling in a fade in a PRA. So we don't have to take this play. We can look through others, but Brianna Stewart played 7 games so far this season. She's averaging 30.57 points, rebounds, and assists. She's covered this in 5 out of 7 games. The line's at 33.5. You get pretty good odds to the under at minus 110. And if we look at the head-to-head numbers, she's played this Washington team 7 times. She's gone under 5 times. So 5 out of her last 7 games against them. She did play them once earlier this season. Scored 8 points, had 8 rebounds, and 2 assists in only 31 minutes. In that game, the Liberty won by 5. What we saw is only 9 shot attempts from her, though. So if we look as late, the 9 shot attempts surely is an outlier. She's averaging 14.6. So that 9 shot attempt she had in that first game against the Mystics, not something that you would expect. She's averaging 14.6. If we think about how the Washington Mystics play defense, in terms of points allowed, not great. Rebounds, not the best. And then assist, 4th most. Okay. Just thinking it through. Thinking one through for Brianna Stewart. Let's just break down her individual props to see where we land. Her points line is 21.5. So this season, she's only covered this in 2 out of 7 games. She's averaging 18.5. Line set at 21.4 as the Washington Mystics. I think, how many WNBA is there? I think there's 12. The power of Google. Let me look this up. There's 12 teams. So, Washington Mystics ranking 9th in terms of points allowed. So they give up the 12, 11, 10, 9. 4th most points in the league. So Brianna Stewart, she gets a big bump in her line. I guess she's got an matchup, but she hasn't been hitting this as of lately. And against the Washington Mystics, she's only hit this in 2 out of 7 games. So in a lot of those games, though, volume was there, just didn't shoot very well from the field. So I don't know if I'm confident enough to take the under, but good matchup. So I won't be. It's a good matchup. I'm not going to take the over, but I don't feel too confident in taking the under. Now, I've got to look at Jonquel Jones. Let's check this girl out. So, points and rebounds shown from Outlier. She's cashed 22.5 points and rebounds in 5 out of 7 games this season, averaging 22.9 in the games she's cashed. It's been pretty sweat-free. She had 2 slower games against Chicago and Minnesota in those games 2 weeks ago. 25 points and 8 boards. So if she's going to feast on the inside, it means Brianna Stewart probably not going to need to. In points alone, the last time these teams matched up. If we look at the head-to-head stuff, but I think the points rebounds gives you a good little bit of leeway. If you see her points, she's cashed in 3 of 7 games this season. Her rebounds, 4 out of 7 games this season, but her points and rebounds, 5 out of 7 games. So you put those two together and you do get a better hit rate. So Jonquel Jones, I'm looking at you, sister. Next up, if we're looking at the most consistent hit rates on the season, what am I thinking about? Brianna Stewart, under 1.5 3-pointers. This is not a bad play if you're playing fantasy. I think you might have to play fantasy for her, actually. The under 1.5 is at 154 though. 5 out of 7 games it's cashed in, and in head-to-head matchups it's cashed in 6 out of the 7 games. So that's definitely a play that I like, but probably more so for those daily fantasy apps. If you want to find performed well, what's cashed well in head-to-head matchups, we can take a look. So Julie Van Loo taking the under in her assists. We've taken a look at that one already. I guess this is some regular season type shit. So one thing I like to do with regular season games in the NBA, which I'm sure would work in the WNBA, is we just quite simply look for the most green possible. So we look to see what's been hitting as of late, what's been hitting this season, what's been hitting in head-to-head matchups, right? So if I take a quick scan here, obviously the Julie Van Loo under an assist, we've already got that one down as a lean. Brianna Stewart, we could fade her. That's got a great hit rate against this team, but this season it's not the best. We got Brianna Stewart under 1.53 pointers, so that's a good look. What else do we see? Joel Jones, we've already spoken about her. We've got Sabrina over her points and rebounds. So that's cashed quite well against the Mystics, although you can see it in this table here that it hasn't been cashing as well, and it's only hitting 29% of games this season. So she does have a good matchup, though, so that could be a good look. But, yeah, I think the Brianna Stewart might be the play here. Under 21.5 points, I'm thinking about it. So it's gone under in 5 or 7 games against Washington. I know we've been through this already, but I'm being convinced. And this season, 5 out of 7 games gone under 21.5 points. So I think that's a good lean too. I think my concern is just her volume is very inconsistent. All it takes is for her to take about 18 to 20 shots and she could cash this line, right? So I think Jonquel Jones probably the safer play. So for this particular game, that's what's screaming out to me at the moment. Ariel Atkins seems to be a key player for this Mystic side, but there could be some of these ladies from the Mystics. But we're taking the under in Van Loo. Doesn't give us too many options for the over. Ariel Atkins. Well, the hit rate hasn't been consistent. That's all. That's what it is. That's what it all means. I think Shakira Austin is she's the one with the best hit rate. But again, she's got a difficult matchup here. So I'd lean to the over for her, but that didn't look like a bet that I wanted to take. And outside of that, there's no real consistency out of any of these Washington Mystics players, which makes sense, right? They are terrible. Can't win a game. Maybe Ariel Atkins under 3.5 assists. Yeah, that's a clear play for me. So I'm going to pass on that. So for this first game, Julie Van Loo under 6.5 assists and Jonquel over points and rebounds. That's one way that I'm leaning. All right. So this next game, we're looking at the Connecticut Suns versus the Dallas Wings. Man, I've got to learn these names real quick because I'm going to just drop in the NBA games. I know it. So firstly, on the Dallas Wings, they're looking for their 3rd straight road win to build on their 3-2 road record. Wings, they're 2-1 straight up on the road this season. If we think about their players, I don't even know how to say the names. What is it? Arike Ogunbowale. My God, I butchered the hell out of that. If she ever checks this game out, I apologize. But she's averaged a whole lot of points this season. We've also got Monique Billings. She's scoring well and rebounding as well. Natasha Howard. She's probably their 3rd scorer. Tierra McCowan grabbing 8 boards. So the Connecticut Sun, they're looking for their 5th win at home to remain undefeated in the season. I think they're looking for their 7-0 start in their franchise history. So they got Dewana Bonner, they got Alyssa Thomas, Dejanay Carrington, and Brianna Jones. So I actually number those players. That's how good this team's traveling at the moment. In terms of the injury report, the Connecticut Suns, they're not missing anyone, whereas the Dallas Wings, they're probably going to be without Jaylen Brown, Natasha Howard, and Sabali. In terms of where the line's at, Dallas 8.5 point underdogs. Fair enough. They're up against a team who hasn't lost. But the Connecticut Suns, I believe that they're distant. Just looking at the numbers, you haven't watched too many games. They're a legitimate title contender behind the Liberty and the Aces. But in saying that, the Suns are 2-4 at covering the spread so far this season. So whereas the Dallas Wings, they've kept a lot of games close. They just can't seem to win too many of them. They are 4-1 covering the spread. So the Wings, 1st in defensive field goal percentage and 2nd in offensive scoring. The Wings, there's probably some good some of their players. So I think this game, another game, which should be a little bit closer than the line expects. So let's get through these Dallas swings and see what the hell's going on here. So, we'll use hit outlier first. Give us those hit rates and go. So, Alyssa Thomas, it's calling out her points and rebounds. Now, she can fill up a stat sheet, this girl. Let's check her out. But what I'm going to make the assumption here is that her lines are higher than what her averages are for the season, and probably based on her matchup and stuff. So if you're looking at the under points and rebounds, 25.5, you'll see that the under has cashed in 5 out of her last 6 games this season. Oh, God. 5 out of her last 6. But the problem is the lines moved up the matchups. So in terms of points allowed, Dallas allowing the 3rd most points in the league, and rebound wise, they're allowing the 5th or 6th most rebounds. So Alyssa Thomas, although the unders cashed very well this year, in head-to-head matchups, it's actually cashed in 3 out of her last 4 games against Dallas. So I don't necessarily hate this play, to be honest. There's a lot of correlating factors. If we think Dallas can keep it close to cover, and we know that Alyssa Thomas hasn't played well against Dallas in the past. And we also know that on the season hasn't been covering this number very much at all. So I know that she is a triple-double threat, so that's something I'm probably a bit concerned about. Her point line's at 14.5, so nothing crazy there. Her rebound line is at 10. God damn. Okay. High rebound line, potential triple-double. Her assist line, 8.5. So she does have a pretty good matchup for assists. Dallas gives those assists up, but Alyssa Thomas in 4 games against Dallas has gone under her assist line in 4 consecutive games. So I think a look here could maybe even be the PRA. The PRA, she's only cashed in 1 out of 4 games against them, because we know the assists, that actually she's a good matchup for assists. It's just she hasn't clapped these guys before. So look, Alyssa Thomas, I know she's too good. Let's just put her down in that Luka category. You don't want to fade a player who's that good. Let's have a look to see who wasn't green. So Brianna Jones, under 6.5. It's cashed very well this season, but she's been a rebounding beast up against this team in the past. So that's something I probably wouldn't want to bet on. We spoke about Alyssa Thomas and her assist line. So her assist line of 8.5, she's gone under in 4 out of 6 games this season, averaging 7.8 assists. It's juiced to the under at -140, so that's not great. But what's promising is that 4 games against Dallas, she's gone under. So daily fantasy, Alyssa Thomas under 8.5 assists might be something I'd be willing to dance with, but I'm spreading. So I'm playing straight bets, so nothing on that for me. Something I could potentially look at, though, is her points plus assists. So 23.5, the under is cash in 4 out of 6 games this season and 3 out of the 4 games. So either of those, I think, are a good look. Alyssa Thomas, not a noted scorer, does a lot of everything else, has games where she does scores, but for the most part, she's only covered her points line in 2 out of 6 games this season. So the point assists, really just hoping she gets a bit limited offensively. That could be a good look. -1, I'll do some line shopping to see what I can get that for, but I don't necessarily hate that that look. So I'll take a look into Alyssa Thomas. We got Dewana Bonner. Let's check this girl out. Her points line, 19.5. This season, she's averaging 20.3. Very consistent. Highs of 22, lows of 19 in 6 games. 4 out of her last 6. Now, if we check the head-to-head numbers, she's cashed this line in 3 out of her last 4 games against the Dallas Wings. So it feels like a pretty I wouldn't say the line is sharp, because this is just what she's been averaging this year. It makes sense, right? Where else do you set the line? She's averaging 20.3. I think 19.5 is a good look. That's going to entice some bettors to look at the over. So I'd probably lean to the over, but we're not too much confidence, if I'm being honest with you. But she has been producing consistently. Maybe if you think about for parlays, you could look at her at 15 points, if you can find that is. But yeah, there's nothing that I want to bet on for her if we're talking straight bets. What else have we got here? There's a lot of Alyssa Thomas fades, so we can get past that. So that's the 2024 season filter. Let's get to the head-to-head stuff and see if anything jumps out at us. So we got Brianna Jones. She's had very strong scoring and rebounding games up against this team. It's only 1 game, so let's not make a big deal out of that. Her last 3 games have been great, though, when it comes to points plus rebounds. 3 consecutive games she's gone over. Minutes haven't been necessarily sky high, but she's been getting busy in limited action. So that's a great trend. She's trending quite well. In head-to-head matchups, when was this? Last season. So she's had one good game against this team in the past last year. She's had 3 good games consecutively, scoring the ball and rebounding the ball. I'm interested to just look at the individual lines to see what's cracking here. So Brianna Jones cashed this points line in 3 straight games. Field goal attempts. So the volume's been very high in the last 3, but so has the shot percentage. So you can probably assume she'll get some sort of regression. Rebounds, her line's at 6. So she hasn't been crushing her rebound line. It really has been points which has been taking her over. So if you're interested in looking at Brianna Jones, I'd say if you're looking at recent form, the Wings, they are allowing a lot of points. I think this could be a good look here. Just on recent form, it looks like she's found a little bit of something. And that correlates somewhat well with Alyssa under and her points. So I don't hate that for Brianna Jones. Not bad. What else do we have? We got Dejanay Carrington. That's a great name, by the way. Her points line 14.5, 4 games against the Dallas Wings, under in all 4, averaging 5 points per game. 18 minutes in her last 2 games against them. This season, she's seen an uplift in her minutes, 30 minutes a night. So I'd be very hesitant to bet an under on this girl. So I'll have to pass on that. Thomas rebounds. So we've had a look at Reddy, Brianna Jones. We've had a look at so this girl, Enrique. I don't know how to say that surname, so I don't want to butcher that. But let's see what she's doing. So her points line's at 24.5, which is just wild. She's averaging 28.8 this season. So this girl, beast, 38 minutes. Whoa, 24 to she shot terribly in that last game. 7 out of 30. Now she is up against the Connecticut Suns, who have the number 1 defense. They allow the fewest points on the season. So 24.5. It's a lot lower than what her averages are because of that, but the volume is nice. If we look at the head-to-head numbers, 2 out of 4 games against this team's 21.5. So, and in those games, 18.3 shot attempts. But this year, averaging 25 shot attempts per game. Look, I'll lean to the over with this one, but difficult matchup, not something that I'd want to bet. But that's an interesting look. So she's someone that I'll probably look for in the future because that volume is pretty good. It's pretty nice. Who else do we have here? I don't really want to play too many Dallas Wings players for their points. I'm going to have to just get Outline to help me. So this is the head-to-head stuff to see what's been popping. What's been popping over the last 5. All right, amazing. All right, so look, not too bad though. I got 2 leans from each game so far. So in this one, Alyssa Thomas under her points and points and assists, and Brianna Jones over 11.5 points. That's what I'm leaning towards at the moment. Let's get to this next game. First, let me see which bloody teams are playing. So I'm not fully accustomed here. We've got the Atlanta Dream versus the Las Vegas Aces. So the line has the Dream at plus 8.5 points. In terms of the Vegas, they've got a 1 record on this season. So one of the stronger teams. They're looking for their second road win of the year or the season. They've won 8 of their last 11 regular season games. They got Wilson. She's averaging 26 points, 13 boards. Young, 21 points, 5 boards. Kelsey Plum, 3rd double-digit scorer. And Alicia Clark, 5 boards. So I do know some of those players. Atlanta Dream. They're looking for their second home win. They're 2 on the season. They're 1-1 straight up at home. They've got Ryan Howard. I know that name because I bet on it last time. She did not deliver. Alicia Gray, Tina Charles, what's that? Cheyenne Parker. But in terms of the injury report, Jordan Canada out due to hand injury. Alicia Gray is questionable for the Dream due to a thumb injury. And the Vegas Aces are expected to be without Bell and Chelsea Gray. So the line's at 8.5. The Vegas Aces are winning games, but they're only 2-3 covering the spread so far this season. They've been pretty lazy defensively in those games. The Atlanta Dream should be up for this contest at home. Their second offensive field goal percentage and offensive 3-point percentage. So we can look at their 3-pointers. The Dream can score, and that should lead to success against a shaky Las Vegas defense. The Aces have had issues covering big numbers dating back to last year. So, by that prediction, the Atlanta Dream should be able to keep it close. So far, it's really expected that a lot of these underdogs keep it close in this game. So, let's use Outlier and see what type of numbers it can give us. Let's have a look at Jackie Young firstly. So I did bet on Jackie Young not too long ago. Did not work in my favor. Points plus assists looks like a great look. She's played games this season, averaging 30. Her line's at 27.5. Do I just bet it immediately? So that looks absolutely excellent. So let me do a deeper dive in terms of Atlanta Dream. Middle of the pack in terms of points allowed, and the bottom half of teams in an assists allowed. So Jackie Young offensively should be able to cook in this game based off this season's form. But if we look at head-to-head form, now this is last season, and the year prior, we can see that Jackie Young gone under this in 4 straight games against the Atlanta Dream, 32 minutes per game, 14 shots. Whereas this season, she's getting 36 minutes and 16 shots, so a little bit more volume. The matchup's not too bad. So I know that her head-to-head form is not great, but, she could be taking a leap this year. If we got last season, she averaged 21.3 points plus assists. This season, 30. So she's definitely made some strides. She's made a big jump. So Jackie Young, points and assists. Thank you, Outlier. I'll be willing to dance with that one. We've got Kelsey Plum, and it's a fade on her points, rebounds, and assists. All right, old girl. She's played 5 games this year. She's cashed this line of 27.5 in only 1 game. So she's gone under in 4 out of 5 games. She's averaging 25.8 PRA on the season. In terms of the matchup, rebounds, this team now too many rebounds, and quite frankly, Kelsey Plum doesn't get too many. But points, middle of the pack, and assists, they do give up some assists, which could be a little bit of a risk here because Kelsey Plum does get some assists. So let's do a breakdown of her points, rebounds, and assists real quick. Her points line's at 19.5. She's cashed that in 2 out of 5 games this season. Field goal attempts are there. She takes a whole lot of 3-pointers, though. Let's have a look at this. 3-pointers, Atlanta Dream. They're middle of the pack when it comes to 3-pointers, but Kelsey Plum covered her 3-point line of 2.5 in 4 out of 5 games. So she's going to take a whole lot of threes. So I'd probably be a little bit cautious fading her points prop. Rebounds, 2.5. So yeah, she doesn't get too many rebounds. So fade on Kelsey Plum, I'm not really feeling it. I don't really want to bet too many unders anyway. Get some overs happening. So I got Ryan Howard. Now, she's been playing quite well this year, although she doesn't have a great history against this team. So this is her PRA, 28.5. She's covered this in 4 out of 5 games this season. Her last game was a stinker against Washington. She only had 19. So she's averaging 28.8 points, rebounds, assists. Looking for a bounce back game. She's got a good matchup when it comes to rebounds. She doesn't necessarily have a difficult matchup for any prop, but she does have an ideal matchup for her boards. She can fill up the stat sheet, which is nice. If you look at head-to-head against this team, cash in the last, but prior to that, 3 straight games under. High of 16 field goal attempts, 3 3-pointers. Got to the free throw line and made some rebounds. This season, what is she doing this season? 33 minutes, 14.4 attempts. Wow. You need her to be hitting her threes if you need her to cash this bet. So I'd be a little bit hesitant to bet on her, purely because she let me down. I don't know if WNBA players respond the same way that NBA players do, with the bounce back factor and all that. We've got Clark. She's been covering her points and rebounds line well this season, 80% rate, although in head-to-head matchups against this team, hasn't necessarily put it together. So I'd be a little bit cautious on that. Let's check the head-to-head filter. We've got Ryan Howard to get some assist. 3.5 at plus money. So in head-to-head matchups against the Aces, she's covered in 4 straight games, averaging 5 assists per game. So that's promising. In 2024, she's cashed in 3 straight, 3 out of her last 5 games. The matchup, not overly difficult. So Ms. Howard over here, 3.5, 4 assists, right? She does 4 assists. It's a plus money play. She's done it well against this team in the past. I feel like I could be tempted into taking this bet. All right, let's get on your girl, Ryan. I hope I'm not saying that wrong because I've said it so many times already. But thank you, Outlier. All right, see what else is popping here. Got a Jackie Young under an assist. We're already aware of that because we previewed her. What's giving me hit rates? I want hit rates that have happened this year, and I want some damage done against the opponent. We've got Kelsey Plum's PRA under. So we spoke about that one as well. I wasn't ballsy enough to take the under on that. Nothing else is screaming out to me. I got to be honest with you. So, look, we'll pass on that for now. We'll see how these plays go. There's no NBA tomorrow, so I'll be checking the box score for this anyway. Jumping into the last game, we have the Minnesota Lynx versus the Phoenix Mercury. The Lynx, 7-point favorites in this game. Firstly, start with the Mercury. They're on a 3-game losing streak, I believe. They're 1-3 straight up on the road this season, so they have been struggling. They've got Kalia Cooper averaging almost 25 points and 5 boards. Diana Taurasi's averaging 16 points, 5 boards. Natasha Cloud, also a double-digit scorer. The Minnesota Lynx, they're looking for a win to build on their 4-2 record. The Lynx 2-1 straight up at home this season. They're led by Nafisa Collier, averaging 22 points and 10 boards, while Kayla McBride, 16 points, 3 rebounds. Alana Smith, third double-digit scorer. Courtney Williams grabbing 5.7 rebounds per game. In terms of the injury report, the Minnesota Lynx still without Diamond Miller because of an injury, and the Phoenix Mercury expected to be without Rebecca Allen and Brittany Griner. So, 7-point line in this game. The Mercury, they've lost 3 straight games. Their defense is just getting worse. The Lynx, one of the biggest surprises in the league. They're 5-1 covering the spread this season. So they're playing above average ball, both ends of the floor. They're first in offensive field goal percentage and first in off 3-point percentage. Sometimes you've just got to back the favorites, right? It's a Minnesota Lynx, like a good lead right here. So I want to go through some of these ladies from the Lynx real quick because most likely they're going to be popping. Actually, no, let's do that. It'll take me forever. Let's get through this the outlier way. We'll filter by hit rates, see what's popping, and then we'll see where we go from there. So we've got Kayla McBride. She's got a great hit rate on covering her assist prop against this so far this season. Her line for assists is 3.5, averaging 3.8 assists on the season. She's covered this in 5 out of her last 6 games, playing on average 35 minutes. In head-to-head matches against the Phoenix, she's covered this in 1 of 3 games, yet to verse them this season, though. So I wouldn't throw it all away. Her minutes in previous seasons are lower than what they are at the moment, 35 minutes. So definitely an uplift in her minutes played. The Phoenix Mercury, they allow the second most assists on the season. So Kayla McBride, over 3.5. Congratulations. You just made my list of leans, young lady. Thank you, and thank you, Outlier, very much. Next up is Nafisa Collier. So let's check this girl out. Outliers telling us to take a geese at the rebounds plus assists. It's over 13.5. Now she's cashed this in 5 or 6 games this year. 5 games in a row, believe it or not. She's got a really good matchup here. Phoenix Mercury, the most rebounds and the second most assists so far this season. Minus 136, though, to the over. So definitely something looking at in fantasy props for sports betting. I'd probably be a little bit hesitant, but I'll add this to my list of leans and I'll line shop it. If I can't find good odds, I won't be taking it. Her rebound line's at 10.5. So she does have a matchup here, but she's cashed this in 4 out of her last 6 games. And in head-to-head matchup, she's cashed it in 2 of her last 4 against the Phoenix Mercury, but they were her last 2 games. So I think at plus 100 here, I might just look at taking her rebounds as a straight bet, not her rebounds plus assists. That's what I'm thinking for Nafisa Collier. Anyway, quick look at her points while we're in here. 22.5, 2 out of 6. She's got a good matchup, but has gone under in 4 straight games against them. So I'd be a little bit hesitant there. But I do like her rebounds based on the data that I've seen. Who else we got here? Natasha Cloud, yet to play the game. Well, let's see where she's at. She's got a pretty good hit rate of this number this season. Her PRA is at 23.5. She's cashed in 5 of 7, averaging 23.8. She does have a good matchup for rebounds, but a tough matchup for points, tough matchup for assists. So her points at 11.5, a bit inconsistent. Her assists at 6.5. Geez, that's crazy ups and downs. Yeah, that's wild. And then if we look at her, she does have a good matchup. 4.5 is the line. She's hit this in 3 out of her last 7. So, yeah, nothing from Natasha Cloud that getting me excited. So they're the best hit rates on the season. Look at the head-to-head hit rates to see where's it banging. So it's the under and Collier, which I'm not willing to play. Kayla McBride, under in her rebounds and assists. We know her assist prop was hitting okay. But it's really just the rebounds letting her down there. I don't take any unders. I'll pass on that. Kayla McBride unders. I don't think so. Collier, 3.5 assists, has a really good hit rate, minus 106. But I do... Well, this is why her rebounds and it's such a good look, right? 3.5 is minus 106. She's hit this in 3 out of 4 games against the Mercury. And on this season, she's hit this in 4 out of her last 6 games. So, yeah, I think her assists are a good look too, but I do like the rebounds a little bit better. So I'm going to be playing the rebounds. But if you're playing fantasy, rebounds plus assists, I honestly don't mind that as well. So feel free to check that one out. Checking to see if there's anything else popping in there. I'm not really loving it. Let's have a look at the game. Last 5 games. Who's been popping lately? Collier, we've been through. McBride, we've been through. And Natasha Cloud, we've touched on. Sophie Cunningham. Let's take a look at sweet Sophie Cunningham. Oh, she white. Okay. 8.5 points is her line. She this in 5 games this season, averaging 9.6 points. Tough matchup here. The Lynx, 3rd fewest points this season in head-to-head matchup. Sophie Cunningham's 1 from 2. So I think it's an okay play, but yeah, I don't love it. That's not screaming out to me at all. We've got Courtney Williams. So we know that is a good matchup for boards here, which is why we're looking at Collier. But she's cashed in 4 out of her last 5 games this season, covering her rebounds line. She's averaging 5.8, lines at 5.5. I think it's... I would lean to the over for Courtney Williams based off these numbers and the matchup, but probably not one that I'm going to be taking, given that I'm already on Collier to get some boards. And outside of that, Sophie Cunningham to get... Not loving that either. But yeah, I think they're pretty much the best ones I can see. So... Look, all in all, shit, that video went longer than I thought it would be. But we're able to preview 4 games. I got a good idea of some players, some good leans. I'll research those a little bit further, but let me know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below what bets do you have on in these sets of games with no NBA on. If you got something juicy, I might ride with you. I'm not going to start doing ride of the day because that's Ev's thing. I don't do my own. So, but let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Obviously, I'll do more videos like this throughout the season because I do commit to trying to get one out to you guys every single day. And I can assure you that things will get better over time. But the most important thing is I give you some insights that work. Or if you struggle to read data and just me going through the data, even if I don't know the players, me explaining the data, if that helps you out, then I've done my job. So I'll be pretty pleased with that. But best of luck. Go a little bit light. I'm not feeling overly confident, so I'm probably not going to bet as much as I normally do. Probably reduce those stakes down a little bit until I get a bit more confident in it. But if you're feeling confident, go for broke, baby. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Sub to the channel because your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice and the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.